For the nation, by the nation. Islam Alive Radio.
Assalamu alaikum listeners. Today is the 13th of April. The time is 3 p.m. South African time. I'm your host Ashka Regal, reporting from Cape Town, South Africa. And this is the show Liberation Education. Shukran for being tuned to Islam Alive Radio. Remember, you may check us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, where you can like, share, and subscribe. For any queries, you can email us on islamaliveradio@gmail.com, or you can send us a WhatsApp on +27 81 217 6012. That's +27 81 217 6012. Disclaimer: the views and opinions of Islam Alive Radio expressed by any guest or presenter are not necessarily the views of Islam Alive Radio. Previously, on the chapters of Liberation Education, since it was chapter 13, I decided maybe I should go through like a summary of all the chapters we've done so far in Liberation Education. Okay, so the first chapter was my research on Islamophobia worldwide at UCT, because this whole show started with the idea of academics in itself and the youth in academics. So I started with Islamophobia worldwide. Then I had my co-host Zaina Ali. In chapter 2 we spoke on Muslim women representation, how it's much needed in today's age with Arab dehumanization and Muslim women being misrepresented in the media. We had Fawzia Abrams, which was our first interview, and she was with Women Within Network. That was chapter 3. In chapter 4, I was back with Zaina, and we spoke on indigenous struggles, different countries, and how natives have struggled in the past as well as in today's age. Then we had Zaid Ahmed in chapter 5. He's part of Youth for Humanity, and they do charity distributions, and they make a difference in their areas. Then we had Aisha Hamdullah. She's a DBE scholarship alumni in Ireland. She's currently working for Frontline Defenders. Zenat Isaacs we had for chapter 7. She's the founder of Supporting Mentorship Through Art, and she does a lot of work with theatre and art, creativity in spaces like Mitchell's Plain and those areas. We had Dhakra Tofi, who's the Vice Chair of UCT MSA in Chapter 8. She spoke on campus life for Muslim youth and them in academics, alongside Chapter 9 with Halal Sisters Retreat. As I'm speaking, I realized that we've actually done quite a lot on the show. We had Waida Dean. She spoke on Halal Sisters Retreat, and she spoke on she spoke on the socializing with other sisters through travel. And then we had where was I now? That was chapter 9. Chapter 10 is St. Luke's Combined Hospices, and I really like this one because we step back from more of the political and social and more into the sphere of life and death, philosophical ideas of death and coming to terms with your loved one, choosing how they want to live their life in a good way. And then chapter 11 we had Anthony Sfalto, another interesting, he went onto Kilimanjaro and he waved the Palestinian flag, and he spoke about him doing architecture and how he stands for climate change and sustainability, and how he's also into astronomy and how everything connects. And speaking of intersectionality and interconnectedness, me and Zaina, we spoke again, but this time on the intersectionality of injustices, which just ties into that representation in chapter 2, as well as indigenous struggles in chapter 4. So everything just came together so perfectly in chapter 12. Then last week, chapter 13, it was with my students this time, because I was at the massive Iftaar for Al-Azhar. Some students from grade 10 to 12, they came they just came from different schools like Rylands and Savvy College, and there were probably more. I'm sorry for skipping them out, but yeah, especially Al-Azhar. And I just went around with my colleague and we asked them like deep questions about politics and Islam all those questions, and they answered very well, mashallah. The future's in good hands, as we can see. And after speaking so much about, politics and social justice and Muslim youth, all these together, we've come back to present times. I was scrolling through, I think, Twitter the other day, and, going still through the horrors of what is happening in Gaza and the distributions, the donations and websites of those. And recently, Islam Alive had spoken to none other than Shakira de Vries. I also decided that I wanted to speak with her as well. So she is doing the questions for me today, and she is going to answer for me the questions that I sent her. However, she just came back to Cape Town, literally within these 3 days, and she said she did need her rest for a few minutes. So I'm going to give her those few minutes, and just to give her a breather. I'm actually really, grateful that she said she'll do it today. But I just want to give her a break because she came back from Palestine, everyone. She came back from Palestine, and she wants to tell us her experience. I know we have already spoken to her a few nights before, but she wants to speak on liberation education to the youth and explain to us from the start her experiences, which I'm really grateful about. But I will give it some time to rest, and I want her to, before coming on to here and giving us her energy, to go through what is happening in Palestine, what is happening currently in politics, as well as sharing with you some of the qasidas I have from Palestinians themselves. So to give her a breather, and also to acknowledge and appreciate the arts that come from Palestinians. Just this whole chapter, I would like to actually talk about Palestine as in its entirety, and also to go through the recent politics as well as what is happening on her side, on Shakira's side. Okay, before I get into any of those, before I get into what's happening recently on Twitter and in politics, I would like to play a few qasidas. First, the ads. Yes, we're actually starting with this time, but a few of the ads, and then qasidas of Palestine, and I'll explain the arts to you. I'll explain the poetry and the creativity behind it as well, inshallah.
St. Luke's combined hospices are dedicated to providing compassionate palliative care to on average 600 patients every day and need your help to continue its mission. Join us on Sunday, 31st of March from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Pledge your support, big or small, and help us significantly impact the lives of those facing terminal illnesses. Your pledge enables us to offer comfort, dignity, and support to palliating patients and their families. Pledge day telephone 087 2655045 or WhatsApp 079 215 1412.
الخضراء عند المية والخضرة، خدني على الأرض الخضراء عند المية والخضرة، عند النبعة والدينة والدوالي الحزينة، عند النبعة والدينة والدوالي الحزينة، والأرض تنده وتقول خدني على فلسطين، خدني على فلسطين، خدني عضو الأرض الزيتونة والكرمة والليمونة، عم بتنادي المعمورة ارجعوا عالحكورة، عم بتنادي المعمورة ارجعوا عالحكورة، حكورة نادي تنادي خدني عفلسطين، خدني بلادي يا أم النضال يلي أنجبتي أبطال، بلادي يا أم النضال يلي أنجبتي أبطال. خذني على الأرض المحتل، على السهل وعلى التل، خذني على الأرض المحتل، على السهل وعلى التل، والأرض تندوي تكون. خذني على فلسطين، خذني على فلسطين، خذني يا طير لا تواخذني، خذني على فلسطين، خذني يا طير لا تواخذني. رجعني على بلادي، عينة أهلي وولادي، رجعني على بلادي، عينة أهلي وولادي. خذني على فلسطين، خذني خذني على فلسطين، خذني. حيفا عم بتنادينا بتستنظر كوم المينا، حيفا عم بتنادينا بتستنظر كوم المينا. يا أخي طال الانتظار، عودوا عودوا يا ثوار، يا أخي طال الانتظار، عودوا عودوا يا ثوار، والأرض تنده وتقول. خذني ع فلسطين. خذني يا طير لا تواخذني، خذني ع فلسطين، خذني يا طير لا تواخذني. رجعني على بلادي، عينة أهلي وولادي، رجعني على بلادي، عينة أهلي وولادي. خذني ع فلسطين، خذني خذني ع فلسطين، خذني.
Your unkindness rewrote my autobiography. Punchlines in guts, blades for tongues, and a mouth pregnant with thunder. Your unkindness told me to push through, look, listen. I was born on the 50th anniversary of the Nakba, to a mother that reaped olives and figs and other Quranic verses. Wattini was zaytun. My name, a bomb in a white room, a walking suspicion in an airport, choiceless politics. I was born on the 50th anniversary of the Nakba. Outside the hospital room, protest textured with burnt rubber, kafiyat faces and bare bodies. Stones thrown onto tanks, tanks imprinted with US flags, lands smelling of tear gas, skies tiled with rubber-coated bullets, a few bodies shot, dead, died, numbers in a headline, I and my sister born, birth that's longer than death. In Palestine, death is sudden, instant, constant, happens in between breaths. I was born amongst poetry. On the 50th anniversary, the liberation chants outside the hospital room told my mother to push.
Greetings from Islam Alive Radio. I'm your host of Liberation Education, Ash Karigo. This is chapter 14 of the series, taking a step back into politics and what's happening in Gaza, Palestine. We do have a guest coming, but she's just taking a rest or until she just came back from Palestine. In the meantime, I'm sharing with you some arts of other Palestinians, creative sayings or songs and art and theater of Palestinians themselves, because when we are speaking with Smart, the founder of Smart, the sporting mentorship through art, and we were also talking to other interviewees like Aisha Hamdullah on how art is integrated through social justice and can be used as a form of protest or liberation, to just show how creativity can also send a message of resistance to power, or the abuse of power. And I feel like this is a good way to do so as well, to just share with you the artists amongst natives who use their art as a form of resistance. And I find that very beautiful. Those that you just heard now, the first was Al-Funoun Palestinian popular dance troupe. It's called Take Me to Palestine, and it's actually, I learned about this song by watching an animation of a little girl on YouTube. It was a little animation. I forgot the name of the animation, but it's about a girl in America now, and it's in her classroom. And they don't know about Palestine, but at the end of the animation, she tells her class about what Palestine is and just educates them on her history and what happened. Yeah, just like the history of Palestine. And it was a beautiful animation. Then, that just had to do with like art through animation and song. Then the next one is art through poetry by Muhammad Al-Kurd. And it's called My Nakba Birthday. It was on Spotify, and it's beautiful use of poetry. And he speaks about how his birthday was on the 50th anniversary of the Nakba. And the Nakba was when Palestinians were displaced from their homes. Many Palestinians were just displaced from their homes, and they were kicked out, and they had to move to different countries, to survive, or to just find a new home. And I just love this poem because it's all about the power of words. He says, death is instant, constant, like the liberation chants outside the hospital room. I find everything about this poem quite powerful. How the beginning links to the end, how telling the mother to push and the push of resistance. This whole poem is just very, thought-provoking. Yes, and that has come to this part of liberation education. The time now is 3:21, and now we going on to another part about Palestine and the politics of Palestine. I want to tell you about this group that I am on. I think it's on Instagram, and it's called Daily Updates. And what it is, it's like a broadcast channel, and it has about 548,000 members on it already. And what they do is they update on what's happening with Gaza every single day, or whatever's related to Palestine in the world currently. Yes, so I'm a part of this group. They update the audience about what's happening every day. In fact, today, I'm just scrolling through it now, it's day 189. If you just read through it, you just see that it's still going on for so long, and it's just shocking how so many injustices just happen every single day, and it's not stopping. But we're on day 189 of the genocide in Gaza, and I'll just explain to you a brief of what happened on day 189. 89 Palestinians killed, 120 injured in last 24 hours. Israeli settlers raid town near Ramallah, West Bank, protected by Israeli forces, shot and killed Jihad Afif, and set fire to 7 homes and 20 cars, and arbitrarily shot people and ambulances, injuring 35 with bullets and severe beatings. Germany, now we're going on to another thing that happened on day 189. Germany refused entry and detained Dr. Hassan Abu Sita at the airport, expected to speak at a German-Palestine conference on surviving 43 days of genocide. German police cracked down on the event, cancelling it midway. Israel launches fierce attack on Nuseirat camp, central Gaza, killing 5 people and injuring 70 plus, including 2 journalists. Norway joins Ireland and Spain, ready to recognize a Palestinian state. Ireland is close, but aims to coordinate on timing with other like-minded states. So that's something good out of this. The fact that Norway, Ireland, and Spain is looking to recognize a Palestinian state. Barely 3 months into the year, 2024 marks a record amount of Israel seizing land in West Bank, likely future settlements. So far, 2,743 acres seized. Israeli attack on home in Gaza City killed 29 people, dozens injured. So this is just one example of what this group daily updates Palestine. This is just one example of how they update every single day of what is happening in relation to Palestine. And it's just shocking what you see every day and the amount of people killed every day. In fact, I'll tell you what happened on Eid. I'm scrolling up, day 187, Eid. 122 Palestinians killed, 56 injured in the last 24 hours. Israel murdered Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh's 3 sons. So they didn't murder the leader, they just murdered his sons, and 3 grandkids in a targeted missile attack on their car while meeting family on Eid. So the 3 sons and the 3 grandkids have been attacked on their car. Ireland, Spain, Malta, and Slovenia commit to recognizing Palestinian statehood, Ireland in coming weeks and Spain by July. So it's also Malta and Slovenia. They're all recognizing Palestine on Eid. Turkey's new export restrictions to Israel can increase Israeli property and rent prices by bans on steel, cement, and granite. So they're restricting exports to Israel. Turkey. Israeli army to establish new border crossing to North Gaza, refusing to open previously promised Beit Hanun crossing, claiming fear of blockade from Israeli protesters. The new crossing is in more remote location. Okay, so there's Israeli protesters. I don't know if you saw the videos, but there are protesters that are stopping the aid from coming through into Palestine. UK government ignores their lawyers' advice to halt arms sales to avoid culpability. So that means the UK Foreign Secretary insists that they evaluated arms licenses, but they will continue to send arms. They will continue to send weapons to Israel. That's the UK. 30 plus Israeli settlers attack Ramallah, West Bank, firing live bullets and torched a barn, injuring 4 Palestinians, including a 15-year-old. So that's a lot to take in, because you see updates like this every day and you wonder, why isn't anyone doing anything about it? You see this every single day. It's day 189 now, close to be 200 days of the genocide. And, there's still support for this genocide and what's happening, and not enough is being done about it. And it's very, it's just unbelievable how it can go on for so long. And, we're going through, the creative arts of Palestinians and native people and resistance. It's just unbelievable how this is still happening. You have so many people that are on the side of Palestine. If you saw TikTok and the rates of the views that Free Palestine itself gets compared to Israeli statistics, it's like insane. The ratio is insane. And to think that the youth and so many people are now waking up to this and it's still going on, it makes you wonder what other injustices can be inflicted in the future if it's still happening in 2024. Yeah, this is just me ranting again, but yes, we are on the time 3:30 p.m. or almost 3:30 p.m. But before I go on to another ad and another break with Palestinian qasidas and songs, I want to tell you about this this coloring book. You probably heard about it, but it's called From the River to the Sea. It's a coloring book illustrated by Natin Gubain, and I actually have it here with me. But an interesting story is that I was at a Palestinian event. I don't know if I said this on the previous chapters, but I was at a Palestinian event and they were selling copies of this book, about 50 copies, and I got the last one. I'm very happy about that. It's like it was meant to be. Alhamdulillah, it was meant to be. I bought the last copy of this book. Yes, it was by Penny Appeal South Africa, and whatever money is raised for this book, it goes to Penny Appeal South Africa, and they're also donating to Palestine directly at the moment. But yes, this book, it was illustrated by a South African, and he illustrated this book, coloring book. You can buy it for your kids, but some of the descriptions are so well done here. For example, one page is about the land, and you're supposed to color in the land, a land with the people. You're supposed to color it in, and it describes like a little snippet of the land of Palestine. So here it says, there's a land called Palestine, and for hundreds of years, Muslims, Jews, and Christians lived together in this beautiful land. There were villages and towns, farms and orchards, culture and cuisine. Palestinians grew oranges and cared for their olive trees. So every page has these descriptions, like parts of history and parts of the culture and parts of the history that happened. And all kids have to do is just color in the pages while they learn about Palestine. And the next page is about, the Nakba. And many don't actually know about the Nakba or the catastrophe. But in this book, it actually says more than 750,000 Palestinians were forced to leave their homes so that Israelis could settle there. This is known as the Nakba, the catastrophe. They believe they would return to their farms or their village and towns. Up until today, Palestinians are still waiting to return. And in the actual coloring in page is a woman holding up the key, because the key is like very symbolic to returning to one's home. So they explain the Nakba, they explain the significance, they show the keys, and they even show the map of Palestine and how it dwindled to 2012. So this whole storybook or coloring book, it's also a storybook, and it also tells you the history. It tells you what happens, the injustices that have been on Palestine, occupation. There's another page called Prayer, and another page called The Dome of the Rock. So all these pages, I'm just going through Children of Gaza, journalists, martyrs, going through all these pages of to educate the youth about what's happening in Palestine right now. There's even a page of South Africa, obviously because the author is South African, but they mention Nelson Mandela as well. So this whole book just educates young people through art on Palestine and all the injustices on Palestine, as well as the resistance and the steadfastness of the Palestinian solidarity, freedom. Amazing book. I'm still coloring in the book with my little brother because we colored in one page together, but we didn't get far. So inshallah we'll continue, but it's a beautiful book to share with your children and to educate others on Palestine, especially kids. Alhamdulillah. Right, the time is 15:32, and we'll take another ad break with qasidas from Palestinians, and I will also explain the poetry or the arts of what the Palestinian artists are portraying.
Southern Hill Gas and Hardware. If you'd like to purchase any size gas tank or even refill your gas tank, needing any screw or hammer and some sort of building equipment, visit Southern Hill Gas and Hardware in Southern Hill Drive, Lavender Hill. Islam Arrive Radio is sponsored by Southern Hill Gas and Hardware, Cape Town, South Africa.
لو كنت مغمض عيني وتاخذني الأحلام من ايديا ونعلى ونحلق في سما جديدة وننسى الوجايا لو كنت مسافر في خيالي قصور وليالي يكبر فيها الحب وآمالي ونمحي الألام. لو كنت نغمض عيني وتاخذني الأحلام من ايديا ونعلى ونحلق في سما جديدة وننسى الوجايا. لو كنت نسافر في خيالي نزرع ونبني قصور وليالي يكبر فيها الحب وآمالي ونمحي الألام. دنيا ترى فيها ملامح ناس قواسها البؤس والظلم والقهر من واقع ناصر يعبث به كل من يبنيه. دنيا علت فيها أسوار طغيان ساحقها فينا أحلاما أحلام وعم الظلام والأنانية في كل القلوب. لو كنت نغمض عيني وتاخذني الأحلام من ايديا ونعلى ونحلق في سما جديدة وننسى الوجايا. لو كنت نسافر في خيالي نزرع ونبني قصور وليالي يكبر فيها الحب وآمالي ونمحي الألام. دنيا ترى فيها ملامح ناس قواسها الظلم والبؤس والقهر من واقع ناصر يعبث به كل من يبنيه. دنيا علت فيها أسوار طغيان ساحقها فينا أحلاما أحلام وعم الظلام والأنانية في كل القلوب. لو كنت نغمض عيني وتاخذني الأحلام من ايديا ونعلى ونحلق في سما جديدة وننسى الوجايا. لو كنت نسافر في خيالي نزرع ونبني قصور وليالي يكبر فيها الحب وآمالي ونمحي الألام.
وهي ما بدها خاتم ولا بهواها خاتم، بدها علم فلسطيني رفرف على المحاكم. هي ما بدها هدية ولا بهواها هدية، بدها علم فلسطيني رفرف على المسكوبية. وأنا ما بدي حطة ولا بهواي حطة، بدي علم فلسطيني رفرف عسيجن شطة. أنا ما بدي زفة ولا بهواي زفة، بدي تبطل فلسطين فلسطين محصورة بأرض الضفة، وهي ما بدها ذهب ولا بهواها ذهب، بدها عالم فلسطيني يرفرف ع سجن النقب. هي ما بدها عراضة ولا بهواها عراضة، بدها تسقط سلطة نحد وترجع الانتفاضة. هي ما بدها ماهر ولا بهواها ماهر، بدها تتحرر البلاد من البحر حتى النهر. بدي تتحرر البلاد من البحر حتى النهر، بدي تتحرر البلاد من البحر حتى النهر، بدي تتحرر البلاد من البحر حتى النهر، بدي تتحرر البلاد من البحر حتى النهر.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings from Islam Alive Radio. I'm Ashka Rigo, your host for Liberation Education. Inshallah, I'll tell you what the songs were, both by Palestinian artists. In fact, I was researching about the translations now, but for the first one, it was, I believe it's a folk song it's called Home, Holm, by Amel. And the English translation, it's just about, if I could close my eyes and the dreams take me by the hand, I would rise and fly in the sky, I'll forget my sorrows, I'll travel in imagination, go to the palaces and the nights with love and hope, erase the pain. So it's just about, closing your eyes and dreaming about, flying higher and traveling in love and hope. But in this world, you see that it's clouded in oppression and misery and suffering, and the walls are so high with tyranny, and it crushes your dreams, and it's with greedy hearts that made these walls and this darkness. So it's really sad. It's a sad song about how you have these dreams about love and freedom and hope, but it's being clouded, it's being blocked by those with greedy hearts and those that stop the dreams from coming. That's Home by Amel. And the second song that was played, it was more of an upbeat one, but it's Kafit Al-Tahrir by Kokim. I will put the names on for audio credits like I always do. Yes, this translation for Kafit Al-Tahrir, it says she doesn't want a ring, but she wants to see the Palestinian flag waving. She doesn't want a gift, but she wants to see the Palestinian flag waving. I don't want a kafir. I just want to see the Palestinian flag waving. So it's just saying, I don't want the small things, the trivial, life, like a wedding ring. I don't want a scarf. I don't want a gift or wedding ring. I don't want gold. I don't want materialistic things, or I don't want a celebration. I don't want a dowry. All I want is a free Palestine. All I want is the Palestinian flag waving on that prison or on that courthouse. I just want to see free Palestine from the river to the sea. That's the last lines. I repeated, I want Palestine to be free from the river to the sea, constantly at the end. So it's just a testament to how, they don't want the things that we take for granted. Or, like wedding rings, we don't want gold or materialistic things. We just want to be free. We just want to live life normally, to just see our land, how we want our land back, how we deserve our land as natives back. So I just want to be free. It's sad because you see these things on an occupier's land. Even from the times of apartheid in South Africa, how that privilege was carried on to white people in South Africa, and black people weren't given the same rights of their land, and they were taken to prisons, and they were taken, arrested for, wanting their land back. And what's happening to Palestinians now, this song actually says, I just want the Palestinian flag on the prisons, on, where they're keeping people hostages, innocent Palestinians hostages. They're saying, I don't want any of these things. I just want to see the Palestinian flag waving. I want to see a free Palestine. And all the stuff we take for granted is just, in stark contrast to what Palestinians go through and what native people go through. So the song is also a testament to that. It's just what was I going to say about the occupier again? I was going to say how on the occupier's land you do see these things like the wedding rings and the materialistic things like gold and land and greed and McDonald's and all these consumerist things that Palestinians, they don't want to see. They just want to see a free Palestine. They don't have it, and they don't desire it, and they don't want it. It's just, that's so small. It's not even on their mind compared to the main thing they want, which is the basic human right of freedom and dignity. Just wanting to be humanized, a human being, from, you know, politicians and UN and all these states. You know, they just want the basics of humanity. It's a wake up call, basically. This the song. Yes, I spoke about the Palestinian magazine. I spoke about that song. Not magazine, but the coloring book, and I spoke about the songs. We're still waiting on Shakira and her response. But for now, I'll play another qasida, which is called, I actually don't know what it's called, but it's, there it is, Shades of Anger by Rafif Ziada. It's another poem alongside my Nakba birthday, but she also wrote a poem on Palestine, and I'll share it with you now.
اسمحوا لي أن أتكلم بلساني العربي قبل أن يحتلوا لغتي أيضا. Allow me to speak my Arab tongue before they occupy my language as well. Allow me to speak my mother tongue before they colonize her memory as well. I am an Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger. All my grandfather ever wanted to do was wake up at dawn and watch my grandmother kneel and pray in a village hidden between Jaffa and Haifa. My mother was born under an olive tree on a soil they say is no longer mine, but I will cross their barriers, their checkpoints, their damn apartheid walls, and return to my homeland. I am an Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger. And did you hear my sister screaming yesterday as she gave birth at a checkpoint, with Israeli soldiers looking between her legs for their next demographic threat? Called her baby girl Janine. And did you hear Amne Mona screaming behind their prison bars, we are returning to Palestine? I am an Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger. But you tell me this womb inside of me will only bring you your next terrorist, beard-wearing, gun-waving, towel-head, sand nigger. You tell me I send my children out to die, but those are your copters, your F-16s in our skies. And let's talk about this terrorism business for a second. Wasn't it the CIA that killed Allende and Lumumba? And who trained Osama in the first place? My grandparents didn't run around like clowns with white capes and white hoods on their heads, lynching black people. Let me break it to you, there is no good occupation and no moral army. I am an Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger. So one more person ask me if I can belly dance, live in a tent and own a camel. And one more immigration officer stop me and frisk me for having a tan he only wishes he had. And who's that brown woman screaming in a demonstration? Sorry, should I not scream? Forgot to be your every Orientalist dream. Genie in a bottle, belly dancer, harem girl, soft-spoken Arab woman. Yes, master, no, master. Thank you for the peanut butter sandwiches raining down on us from your B-52s, master. Yes, my liberators are here to kill my children and call them collateral damage. I am an Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger. So let me just break it to you. This womb inside of me will only bring you your next rebel. She'll have a rock in one hand and a Palestinian flag in the other. I am an Arab woman of color. Beware my anger.
يمام ويل الهوى يمام ويلي يا ضرب الخناجر ولا حكم الناذل بيا يمام
Assalamu alaikum, listeners. Greetings from Islam Alive Radio. My name is Ashka Regal. I'm the host of Liberation Education. I'm recording from Cape Town, South Africa. And the song you just heard, the first one, that's a lot to unpack. I really wanted to play that song. Not a song, but the poem. In the first place, it has a lot of levels of rebellion and things I want to talk about. For example, allow me to speak in my mother tongue before you colonize that as well. And she spoke about how she will climb the checkpoints and the apartheid walls, becoming different shades of anger, and how the child in my body you think is the next terrorist, but rather the next rebel, or it's our skies and your copper F-16s and your weapons, but our skies, our land. And how you trained Osama bin Laden in the first place. So it's all these levels of, it's just like a call out, of calling out oppressive systems. Or what else did she mention? Like the ones lynching black people, and how all occupations are not model. There's no model army. And this idea of womanhood as well, like Muslim woman or Arab woman, and your Orientalist dream, and how you see me as the belly dancer and my child as collateral damage, and just calling out these systems of power and objectifying women of color and Muslim women, the dehumanization of Arabs, Asians, black people, Africans, or the global south. And she's speaking out about these, or just calling out the double standards of the West, rebelling against it, instead of just throwing back this idea of terrorism, throwing it away from her, and seeing herself as the ones that deserve to be angry. It's a great poem, calling out these powers and calling out the oppressive systems. It was by Rafif Ziada, The Shades of Anger. Amazing storytelling of that as well. Then the song played after, it was called Yama Muwail Il Hawa. I apologize. Yama Muwail Il Hawa, it's Oh Mother, What is the Wind? And it speaks about how I'd rather be hit with daggers than be ruled by scoundrels. And it will be a fight for freedom. It ignites a flame inside me. The rain quenched my desire. And, what is the wind? Formed on the heat of day. The rain washes the bricks away. Love stays in my heart. So it's just the idea of how love remains in me. It stays with me, but I'd rather be killed off than be oppressed by other people. So, yeah, it's a really soft song, but really hits your heart because it's about rather dying with dignity. Okay. Wow, the time is already almost 4 o'clock. I did want my guest on, but for now it seems like it's almost the end of our time. Either way, it's all good. I would rather have her rest, because coming back from Palestine and going through so much, I would want her to put her energy into recuperating before coming onto the show and telling the youth about her experience. But I feel like we have gone through a lot already, just you and me, on the different artistry when it comes to Palestinian resistance, as well as going onto that broadcast channel that sees the updates of every single day, that broadcasts the news of every single day. We've gone through day 189 on Instagram. Then we went onto the coloring book. I'm basically advertising this coloring book to you as well. It's called From the River to the Sea, illustrated by Nati Ngubain. And Penny Appeal, I believe, is selling it. Please do get the book. The proceeds go to Penny Appeal, that deals with charity, especially in Palestine and Gaza at the moment. We spoke on the poetry of some Palestinians, some songs. I went through each song for the day. And before we close off, we only have 4 minutes left. Before I close off, I'll play a few more qasidas, a few more artistic, creative pieces by Palestinians themselves. But I want to explain to you why we are doing this again, and why this section of this chapter was so important. It's because we speak on how art, how creativity can be a form of resistance and protest to colonial powers. And we've done it before for apartheid, or for movements like Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movement for women in South Africa and beyond. We've gone through how art can literally be used to encourage others to be aware of systems of oppression. And these songs shows this power to educate. Even on TikTok, like you'd see TikTokers using these audios, and what they do is they use the audio and they tell people to share the audio so that the money raised from listening to it and the proceeds go to the Palestinian artists to like save their family members. I think one was like to evacuate her sister out of Rafah. And it's just smart how the youth uses these systems, uses like art, like they would put art behind them for Congo or for Palestine. They'd say, if you use this audio, if you use this picture, then the proceeds go to the cause. And it's amazing how they use it now, how the TikTok, how these systems are being used to spread a good message and to raise money for the causes. Like the youth are directly moving to make a difference in whatever way they can on social media, and I find that amazing. Just a testament to how our youth really is on the right path, and we are in good hands for the future. Alhamdulillah. Right, I am Ashka Regal, your host of Liberation Education. We have 1 minute left, but I will share some more songs with you, inshallah, and I will see you again on Liberation Education next time, chapter 15, inshallah.
Islam Live Radio is sponsored by Al-Muqeed Foundation South Africa. Would you like to donate cash or kind towards feeding our children and people? Contact the following number, +27 66 33 99 775. Al-Muqeed Foundation South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa. Serving the humanity.
يا اللي عليك القلب حزين وهذه سنين تدمع العين ليه حبيبة يا فلسطين يا وين العرب نايمين يا زينة البلدان قومي ربي يحميك من ظلم الإخوة العديان واليهود اللي طمعن فيك ما نسمح فيك يا غزة مالك ريح علي بعيدة يا رفح ورام الله أمتنا راها مريضة مرضوها بالمشاكل وفساد الحكومات والعربي عايش في الويل مستقبل كله ظلمات يا لا 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 يا ليلو يا ليلو يا لا 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 يا ليلو يا ليلو يا لا 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 عليك القلب حزين، وهذه سنين تدمع العين لحبيبها يا فلسطين. يا ويل العرب نايمين، يا زينة البلدان، قومي ربي يحميك، قومي ربي يحميك، قومي ربي يحميك.
بطلتي إلي حلوة يا مدللي، بطلت لي دموع حل المسألة، بطلنا سوا وبطل الهوى يجي عالسوا، وانخلقت مشكلة بطل الكلام يقدر يمحي الألم، واللي فات أوان أخر مرحلة. بطل الكلام يقدر يمحي الألم، واللي
غير إنه الدنيا تبطئ حركتها والدوران. كل الطبيعة بتنحني لما بجسمها تنحني، قصص بعيونها تشدني تختزل عمر اللي كان. منسية من زمان علقت بشالة يلي كان شاهدها حب مثله مكان، في سر بجسمها وريحتها يا ما غنى عنه الشتا. تفاصيل كتير لاحتها عرقت مثل جسمها الشتا. شتا 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 شتا. شتا لو أرجع لحظة أبوطة جمد هالدنيا ثبتها، مش فارق بعدها شو بيصير. شتا 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 ما اشتقتش مثلي لريحتها، دخلك رجعها متى متى ما خلص سطري الأخير. شتا 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 ما اشتقتش مثلي لريحتها، دخلك رجعها متى متى ما خلص سطر الأخير.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, listeners. I'm Ashka Regal, the host for Liberation Education, and the songs you just heard, if I'm being honest with you, it's in Arabic, so some of these songs I don't know. One is by the artist Al-Azhar, and the other one, the artist is in Arabic and the song is in Arabic. I will upload it on YouTube, inshallah, and I'll upload that Arabic so you can copy it and then search it on Spotify. That was the guitar song, by the way. It's all in Arabic, so for the life of me, I don't want to butcher the words. I will just post it online, inshallah. But those are the two artists. And the last song was Shahrazad by Yazan Ibrahim and Therese Sleman. And I just loved how all the instruments were incorporated, and it sounded, different traditional music as well as modern day instruments as well. So beautiful mixture of cultures. Very beautiful artists and songwriters and poems, as well as artists that, for example, Natin Gubain, a South African artist that made the coloring book. All this mixture of creativity related to Palestine and resistance is just so beautiful. And I'm glad I got to share it with you today, even though I didn't have my interviewees today. Inshallah, next week I will have them on. For example, Shakira De Vries, who just came back from Palestine, who is South African, and as well as another guest from Manchester, who does a lot of protests and who recently spoke to me about what's happening on the 20th of April, which is a protest for getting the US, I believe the US, who vetoed the bombing, who vetoed the military. I don't know everything about it. I don't know how to word it properly, but they vetoed related to Palestine in the UN. They were the only country to veto that cause, and because of that, the guest that I wanted on from Manchester, they were protesting the US's privilege of vetoing in the panel. So that was very interesting. I wanted him to go on as well, but we did run out of time, unfortunately. So inshallah, next week I will have guests on that speak on Palestine, relate to Palestine from different countries that came from Palestine, and to build up on this idea of resistance. So today we spoke on the creative aspect of resistance, the art of Palestinian resistance, and next week, inshallah, I have more guests related to this topic. But thank you for joining me on my rants and my artistic education of Palestine through songwriters and artists, as well as poetry speakers. Inshallah, next week we'll get more guests on. This was Liberation Education, Chapter 14, and I'll see you next week. Remember, you may check us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. You can like, share, and subscribe. For more information, you can follow us on islamaliveradio@gmail.com, or you can send us a WhatsApp on +27 81 217 6012.